Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals and entrepreneurs publish to inform their consumers, to grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable attorneys across the country with a focus on elder law and estate planning. Joining me on this segment is Halley Allaire, and she's an attorney with the Allaire Elder Law out of Bristol, Connecticut. Halley, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Now, I know elder law is a broad topic, so please tell us a little bit about your focus areas in that spectrum and specifically the types of folks that you help.
Sure. It is the only type of law we practice. And a lot of people, when they say elder law, they mean estate planning. That is a component of what we do. But a true elder law attorney has a continuum of services from the basic documents before any care is needed to care and government benefits that might be able to fund that care, all the way down to probate if needed. Obviously, a lot of people try to avoid that as well as much as possible, but it's a continuum.
So, yeah, I know that the recent pandemic put a huge spotlight on sort of the gap of knowledge that people have in the subject matter, and that's why we're really excited to bring more awareness to this topic. What are some of the things that you hear people ask you when they reach out to you, especially today? What are the most common concerns people have that maybe they have a little misinformation or lack of information on?
Number one is, how do I stay home? That is always the goal. I don't want to go to a nursing home. How do I stay home? How do I protect my money? And the counterintuitive thing about it is that might mean giving it away. Now, I never recommend giving away your money to a child. There are some exceptions to that for minors or disabled children because it wouldn't impact the client. But normally I suggest giving property to a trust because bad things happen to good people, happened in my own family. And if that person tried to safeguard your asset, but couldn't through no fault of their own, lawsuit, get sick, now we have a problem. Now the funds aren't there to supplement need.
That's interesting. And is that part of like a myth or a misconception that's out there regarding, what people should do with their assets or their money? What are some of the big like myths or misconceptions that you have heard out there?
A lot of people think I have to spend everything until it's gone and then I have to go into a nursing home. And that is absolutely not true. The most critical thing anyone can do is create a power of attorney. Create a document to someone you trust to allow them to manage your finances and possibly rearrange them in the future if you're not capable, because being able to rearrange is how we save them. The problem is that means giving up some control, and a lot of people are very hesitant to do it. But when you have trusted parties in your life, it's critical.
You mentioned something about probate, and I know that's like a bad word to a lot of folks. Like they want to avoid that because I understand it's time consuming. It can be costly in some states. Tell us a little bit about the dangers of something going into probate and what to do to avoid that.
So by having joint ownership or a beneficiary designated, the asset will avoid probate. And I use air quotes because you can't actually, at least in my state, you cannot actually avoid probate. You can drastically simplify it. And in most states, the tax limits are quite high. Right now in my state, Connecticut, it is a $7.1 million threshold before you will pay estate taxes. So most people, they just don't understand what they're trying to avoid. Now, most people aren't going to pay any taxes anyway. I can understand wanting to simplify the process from a year or more of paperwork down to a simple 2 or 3 month filing. But what people don't know about probate is that's how you get your tax advantage on capital gains. For real estate or stock that has appreciated over the years, probate is how you wipe it clear of capital gains tax and allow your children or whoever it is to inherit it tax-free. So you want to simplify the process, but you don't always want to avoid it.
Halley, how did you start and get inspired to focus on elder law in your practice? How'd you get started?
It's in my family. My father started this firm with some other gentlemen about 45 years ago. They were more general practice, but as he began to focus his viewpoint, we realized that this was really the way to go. So I grew up in it. This is familiar to me. It is where I was babysat. It's where I had my first job. It just made sense. It was not my first career. I actually started in the Navy as a lawyer, but it actually was a pretty smooth transition because either way, we're just helping people get to where they need to get.
Before I ask you my last question, for folks who realize now, and there's now an awareness that they need to put some things in place, because I think old school thinking was sort of like, hey, if I have a will, that's all I need to do.
Yes.
For folks that really know that they need to really get their stuff in order,
Mhm.
what's the first step? What should they do? What are the steps that they should take if they don't even know where to start?
Go get a consult. Some are free, some are not. You sometimes get what you pay for, but get a consult. Anybody worth their salt is going to say create a power of attorney. I don't really care about the will. If you successfully simplify probate, you won't use the will. So the power of attorney, if nothing else, is what you actually should create.
Interesting insights. Haley, for those listening now and are in Bristol, Connecticut, or the areas that you help, how can they connect with you and learn more?
So I'm at Halley, Halley, at allairelaw.com. That's ALLAIRE. Or we can be reached at 860-259-1500. And there's a world of articles and information on our website, allairelaw.com.
Haley, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
Haley Allaire, attorney with Allaire Elder Law in Bristol, Connecticut. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to inform their consumers, to grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.